What's going on, everyone? So today I want to talk about reading habits that I would highly recommend implementing into a daily routine type of thing. I'm going to make another video going over how to create a daily routine, like what type of things you want to put in there. But reading is definitely one of the top things. I first got into reading. I hated reading growing up. My reading comprehension up to like 8th grade was awful. From like 2nd to 8th grade, like I was always in the office where they like teach you how to like, do reading comprehension. When I would take the tests and the scores were always bad. But the reason I got into it and I read as much as I do now, I try to read like a book or two a week, like of good books that will add value to my life, which is one of the reasons why I read. Was because when you look at billionaires, when you look at Bill Gates, when you look at Warren Buffett, when you look at Jack Ma, when you look at Jim Quick, when you look all these people, Brendan Burchard, like Tony Robbins, whoever. Tony Robbins read listened to a thing yesterday. I talked about he read 700 books on personal development, and personal psychology when he was 17 to 21, I want to say. So if success leaves clues, right? And I'm looking at successful people to see what type of clues they're leaving. So then if I take the same actions that they're taking and I can get the same results, like cause and effect relationship, they're reading books. Bill Gates takes I want to say he takes 50 days or 5 weeks or something in the summer just to go, I forget the specific amount of time, but he takes a good chunk of time, like several weeks in the summer just to go on vacation and read, just to focus on reading. That's when he does his reading for the summer. So why is he doing that? So I started thinking about okay, well, why is he doing it? There's value in these books, aside from the fact that the sooner, let's say, you read them, the better, because then you can get the compounding of, let's say you're going to be alive for 80 to 100 years. If you read it when you're 50, you only get 30 years of being able to execute on the knowledge that you learned, let alone you don't even retain all of it, so you might have to read it multiple times. But if you read a book when you're 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever, the younger you can read the book and get that knowledge that's going to be valuable to your life, the sooner on you can implement it, and then it compounds when you read one book. Let's say one book you read about finance, so now you know how to finance things, but you don't know anything about investing. So then you read another book about investing, so now you got finance, investing, and then you read another book about business. Now if you put the three together, let's say it takes you a couple months to read all this stuff, or a couple years even to learn about the different things. So finance, business, investing, economics, and the psychology behind it, and marketing. You're learning all these different things, and when you put them together, that's where you get the compounded growth. So don't be worrying about what's one book. One book's not going to change shit. Average person, I want to say, in the United States reads one book, 6 books a year, which is awful in my mind. I read, like I said, I read 1 to 2 books a week, if not more. I usually have multiple books going, so I'll read a couple chapters here, read a couple chapters there, depending on what I'm specifically needing to learn that I feel like in the short term. But even if, let's say you just read 10 pages a day, that's 300 pages a month, that's an extra book a month. So you're reading twice as much as the average American. You're getting 2 times farther ahead than the average American just by your simple 10 pages a day, which might only take 5-10 minutes, let alone if you can read a chapter a day, then you quadruple what the average person would be. Let's say a chapter a day, average book's 10-12 chapters. Let's say you read 2 books a month now, instead of 1 book a month at 300-page book. Now you're reading 24 books a year. You're quadrupling what the average person is doing. That's compounded growth. Over time, you're getting farther ahead. Kobe Bryant had a great comment about his sleep routine and his workout schedule. So he would work out 4 to 6 times a day. But he would start earlier which is the same reason this gets into more of my sleep schedule. I wake up at 3, I go to the gym, I get 2 days worth of productivity before the first person even gets to work at 10 a.m. And I'm still getting my 6 hours of sleep that I'm completely happy getting, healthy, all that stuff. But you get compounded growth the more you do it. So even if you make a system, let's say this will be your strategy for it. Read 10 pages a day, read a book a month. If you read a chapter a day, you might be able to read 2 a month. That's 24 books a year. 10-year period, that's 240 books of knowledge. That's good. And I want you reading. You can read for fun if you like to read for fun. I would recommend, though, reading things that are going to make some type of level of improvement to your life, not just reading because, by all means, you want to read for fun, more power to you. But the focus of the reading that I do is for growth. So I'll do stuff on econ, I'll do stuff on finance, psychology, personal development, personal finance, business, marketing, sales, stuff that whatever I'm focused on at that time, I'll read stuff about that. And then when the time comes, you'll be good on knowing what to read. So if you've never done passive income, if you only had a job, let's say, and you're in the group, you might not necessarily need to read something about creating a funnel. If you don't even know what a funnel is, you might just need to read something about how to win friends and influence people, the basic, the Think and Grow Rich, the beginner level books that are still classics. And the reason they're classics is because they're good. I just read Think and Grow Rich again last week, and at one point I was listening to the audiobook for How to Win Friends and Influence People on like a monthly basis because it makes the impact. So if you can use that over time, it's going to add up and add up and add up. And then whatever book, the point of this is when you're ready to read the specific type of books, you'll know what to read. So only don't be not jumping the gun, but like read what you need at the time and then read other things. But make sure you're executing on the things you read because all the knowledge doesn't mean shit if you don't execute it on it. If I read a book on sales, but I just sit there and I don't talk to anybody, how am I supposed to sell more? If I don't engage with anybody, how am I supposed to sell more? So try to, when you read something new, think about, so this Jim Quick talks about one of the ways you can learn things quicker is when you learn something new, see how it fits into your life, but then also how you execute it on it within minutes. I was reading a persuasion book one time, and I was with one of my ex-girlfriends, and we're sitting there, we're listening to the audiobook and reading it, doing both. And he said something, within like a 2 or 5 minute window, I tried the persuasion trick and it worked. So I got feedback immediately within a couple minutes versus like if I took action, which is the whole point of the knowledge, because the knowledge, without that knowledge isn't power, it's a potential power once you execute on it. So read the books to learn things so that you can execute so you can better your life. Read the type of books that are going to be beneficial to your life. By all means, if you want to read fun stuff, read fun stuff. But I would read stuff that maybe you're struggling with now. And then personal finance, I would read the most about. I would study more on like YouTube and stuff for that. And so I used for a book, Standpoint. I've used Audible. I didn't really like it that much, because you can just do the same thing on YouTube where you get audiobooks, but Audible, you can speed up the speed of it. So potentially, if you like listening to books in the car, you can get Audible. And then my favorite site to get books from is thriftbooks.com. Let's say I got a book, I just got like $160 worth of books or something. But if I can get each book, let's say it's $4, $5, $3, depending on the price, excuse me. If I can read the book, and it's on finance, it's on money, right? Because everybody wants more money. Or if it's on happiness, because everybody wants more happiness. If I can learn something on, let's say money specifically, because the book has $1 cost to it. If I can read a book for $5 on consulting, but in the book it shows me how to make $100, that's 20 times what I paid for it in one action potentially. Let alone compounding that over the year, let alone if I put that into an investment. So the more you read, the more you can, the more you know, the more places you can go, which is the Dr. Seuss line. But the more you read, the more you can execute on the things you read, and it compounds over the long term. So you gotta be reading. That's my spiel for today. Hope you guys enjoy.